get it going.
Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015, Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agencies, Calexico Financing Authority regular meeting starts 5:40 p.m. Call to order. Roll call. Yes.
Councilmember Dunn.
Here.
Councilmember Hurtado. Here. Councilmember Moreno.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Castro. Absent.
Absent. He's going to be late. So, we'll call him. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Before we go to the agenda closed session, a closed session of the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority may be held in accordance with state law, which may include but is not limited to the following types of items: personal matters, labor negotiations, security matters, providing instructions to the real property negotiators, and the conference with legal counsel regarding pending litigation. The closed session will be held in the City Hall conference room located at 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico, California. Any public comment on closed session items will be taken before the closed session. Any required announcements or discussion of closed session items or actions following the closed session will be made in the City Council chambers, 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico, California. Is anybody public wants to talk about the closed session? I believe nobody is here. If anything comes on, we're going to adjourn to the closed session.
Just gonna read what's on closed session.
Okay, we're gonna, before we go to closed session ones, number one, conference with the labor negotiators, mayor and city attorney, unrepresented employee, acting city manager, government code 54957.6. Two, public employee performance evaluation, title, acting city manager, government code 54957B. Three, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, title, city manager, government code 54957B. Number four, public employee appointments, title, city manager, government code 54957. Number five, public employee appointment, title, police chief, government code 54957B. Number six, public employee appointments, title, finance director, government code 54957B. I believe we have one person who wish to talk. Mr. Victor Flores, please come to the podium. Ms. Garcia, I think the microphone's working there too?
I believe this one's working already too.
Oh, he's already over there.
Yeah, it's already there.
Yes.
It is working.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Appreciate your time. I'm Victor Flores, I'm a member of the Calexico Police Officers Association. And I'd like to speak to you in reference to the recommendation of offering the position of our chief of police.
Excuse me, for clarification, you're speaking as part of the POA?
Yes. Well, I'm not a president, but I am an associate member. And I'm here to exercise my right to speak.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's been a year since we had hired a consultant, Michael Boston, and All he's done is fired police officers and encouraged the integrity online of the police badge, which is the public faith and trust. Mr. Baucus has lied, has asked the people resident to lie on behalf to keep the other officers fired. And when I went to the training at the LAPD, which I'm grateful for my boss for making that happen, that's a good thing. However, what the problem is with LAPD is always shown in the King meetings is that whatever the behavior has the supervisor, the subordinates follow through. And I believe Mr. Bostic has tainted the integrity of the police department by lying, asking officers to lie to keep other officers fired. And not only saying that they might come back. This is a man that burst out in tears because he found so much evidence not coming back. He makes an about face. What kind of pride is that? What kind of pride is that? You could say my investigators may not follow the truth, it's in court. No, we're fact finders. We find the truth. That's what we do. And now this man is talking about welcoming these officers back because that's fair. They deserve a good day in court. Well, whatever happened to the tears and stacks and stacks of evidence? What's that all about? So I asked him, we need to get rid of the real cancer. Integrity is on the line. And this person can do this to 7 officers, he can do it to anybody. Any council person, anybody who wants to be business professional. You got the person who is built a bridge for the community to be a buffer. Joe Bianco. And he's giving you information. Information that he is saying Mr. Boston's asked officers to lie. And if you can do it to 7 officers, you can do it to anybody. And everybody here should feel fair about that. We need someone that knows the culture, that knows the pulse of this police department, it's familiar. Give us someone with integrity, that doesn't lie, it's a proven administrator. Give us someone that respects our Hispanic culture, that doesn't insult officers because they have a Spanish accent. And everybody here knows someone who speaks Spanish. If he's one to insult somebody who kicked down a door, a burning building, we were able to save her life, and we fire him, we make fun of him because he's Spanish speaking. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. So we're going to go to closed session, adjourn to the closed session. Okay. About 5:47.
Either that or this or
So we're going to start meeting the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular session meeting start 6:39. Call to order.
Mayor Kim?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Castro?
Present.
Councilmember Leal?
Here.
Councilmember Hurtado?
here.
Councilmember Moreno?
Here.
All members present, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. So we have pledge of allegiance to the Mr. Rio Seco. Would you lead us to pledge of allegiance? Mr. Arturo Rio Seco, would you lead us of allegiance? Thank you. I believe the Pastor Daniel Vallejo, Asamblea Apostolica. Would you? Yeah.
Buenas tardes. Vamos a hacer una invocación para pedirle a Dios que nos bendiga, a todos los representantes del cónsul y cada uno de los presentes aquí. Buen Padre Celestial, te damos gracias por la inmensa oportunidad que nos permite estar aquí, en frente de cada uno de estos líderes que representan la ciudad de Calexico. Te pido por cada uno de ellos, por sus vidas, por sus familias y por cada uno, Señor, de la enorme responsabilidad que has puesto en cada uno de ellos. Te pido bendigas esta reunión, que sea un éxito y que la ciudad de Calexico, Señor, avance en los proyectos que necesitan ser aprobados, Padre. En tu santo y bendito nombre lo pedimos. Amén y amén. Gracias.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Vallejo. Closed session announcement, Mr. Hargreaves.
Yes, on the agenda items number 1, 2, 3, and 5, no reportable actions were taken. On item number 4, which was public employment of the city manager, the city council acted 4-1 with Councilmember Hurtado voting no to advertise the position of city manager for a period of 30 days, and at the same time seek through an informal RFP process proposals from city manager search agencies. And on item number 6, which was public employment of a finance director, the city council also acted 4-1 with Councilmember Hurtado voting no to float that position, advertise that position for 30 days also. So those are the actions.
Thank you, Mr. Hargreaves. Okay, approval agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a clarification request. On item number 14, City
Number
Manager.
14.
Item number 14 indicates here on the agenda that was publicly posted for the public that it says temporary reduction of development impact fees and building planning and fire fees for residential areas only. But when we go to the actual backup item information, it looks like we're discussing business. So I need clarification because your staff letter, City Manager, also indicates that it's about residential, but you're referring to past action that the council took with regard to this issue, but in a business sense. So my question is, what was the intent of the item 14? Was it in fact the intent to discuss residential areas only, as written here and posted? Or was there a mistake, and we're actually talking about business, and is it appropriate to move forward with an item with such a problem?
Mr. Finley?
And I guess it would be a question for legal as well.
The intent is for the residential only. However, this is the only backup that we could find in regards to going to this type of action. And so the backup was just provided for you as a guidance as to something that took place.
Mr. Finley, should not the proper protocol go through Planning Commission and their discussion and their examination and evaluation of the situation rather than bringing it abruptly to council?
I would say let's have that discussion
Okay.
when the item's called.
So the clarification is that the item is actually then for residential as posted?
Yeah.
Except there was no backup. All right.
Okay. If there's any more discussion, we're gonna vote.
Aye.
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 Ms. Hurtado?
Yes, aye.
Thank you. 5 vote. Okay, now then I have a agenda working on it. Okay, announcement. This proceeding may be viewed on the City of Calexico website and www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Presentation, the proclamation present to the Sam Ellis stores on their 100th anniversary of business in the city of Calexico. I think we council member, we have proclamations. So I think all the council members to have their names on there. Whereas the Calexico City Council believe that it is important that we honor and acknowledge this long-standing business and its contributions to the betterment of our community, and
Whereas Mr. Sam Ellis began his business in 2nd Street in the city of Calexico in November 1915, and
Whereas Mr. Sam Ellis began construction of the current location on the Sam Ellis Department Store in 1936, and
Whereas the Calexico City Council wishes to congratulate the Sam Ellis Department Store for being a pillar of the retail community of Calexico for 100 years, and
Whereas Sam Ellis Department Store has supported the youth community of Calexico and has been a major contributor to the overall sustenance of Calexico's history, and
whereas Sam Ellis Department Store has been a major contributor to many elementary schools in the Mexicali areas in the form of classroom equipment, and
whereas the Calexico City Council believes that the future of any city is dependent on the success of business and such as a Sam Ellis Department Store and their commitment to the community, and
whereas the City Council believes that future generations can learn much from the past, and how Sam Ellis Department Store has been instrumental in preventing much of Calexico's history and preserving,
now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Calexico hereby expresses its sincere appreciation to Sam Ellis Department Store, its owners, and the employees for their hard work, dedication, and continuous the service to the City of Calexico residents and the visitors. In witnesses whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and official seal of the City of Calexico on the 3rd day of November 2015. June as Kim Mayor.
Oh, what can I say? What a roller coaster this is. It's easy to say we turned 100 years old, but it's a lot harder to actually really work for 100 years. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of support. I actually kind of feel guilty taking this because the family prior to me, my grandfather, my mother and her brothers and sisters, we want to lay the foundation for this. I was lucky to come into an organization that was very strong. What I promised myself I was going to make this Hope it works out. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for
Thank you, Mr. Okay, public comments and the public appearance. Note not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and the place of the residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items is not included on the printed agenda. If this item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your question and comments to the City Council. We have several people wish to talk. So I believe the public comment persons, only 2 public comment, and rest of them going to be itemized. So first person who wishes to talk, Joaquin Tapia. Oh.
My name is Joaquin Tapia, 28 Calexico. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Calexico residents, I was recently sitting in my living room watching television, and I saw a couple of residents of Calexico feeding the homeless. I don't have an issue with feeding the homeless. I don't have an issue with people on welfare. I do have an issue with people that I saw there eating. They're not supposed to be eating. They're not homeless. They're cheating the homeless from a meal. And people on welfare bragging that they're on welfare is very disturbing to me. Now, if we're going to feed the homeless, do it now, Central. We got beautiful weather here. They'll keep on coming. Sooner or later, our tax will go up because we want to put them in shelters, houses, and this and that. I am up to here with paying tax. I don't want to pay no more. In fact, those people should be trained, sent to school or something, or to church, to learn to have shame on them for taking food from other people who really need it. I have a problem with that. I just want that to come into the public, to make that, make it a public notice. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tapia. Next person, Mr. Armando Orozco.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Councilman, City Councilwoman. My name is Armando Orozco. I'm the Vice President of the Calexico Police Association. I came forward to clarify a little issue. There were some comments made earlier from one of our members, and I believe it was misunderstood that it was a general comment from the association as a whole. Okay, I'm here to clarify that though we, express a great need to give our First Amendment right, and we push for that in our members, that it's not speaking for the association as a whole. We here at the Calexico Police Association, we're police officers, and that's what we're here to do, to be police officers. We're not here to do politicking. We're going to leave the politicking to the politicians. Okay? So that's what I came up to do, to clarify it that as an association, we're not going to get involved in politics. We're not going to, we're allowed to speak our rights and say what we need to say as an individual, and we encourage that. But as a whole, we're police officers. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there's no more public comments, the reported, they have 3 to 4 persons at each itemized. We'll call at that time. Okay, now come to the council. As Mr. Real. Please try to be short, 3 minutes, because we have a time limit.
I'm already short. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight. I know it's getting a little cold out there, and everyone's got to get their jackets out and out of the boxes in the storage. I hope everybody had a great Halloween, and as far as we're the police officers, they took off on me. As far as I know, no major incidents. Everybody had their trick-or-treat, and everybody was safe. And I'm glad that went like that. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been doing some homework on comparing our fees from City of Calexico, business license fees, permit fees, and many fees that the City of Calexico charges. And I've been comparing them to cities like El Centro, Imperial, Brawley, Hopeville, Coachella, Calipatria. And I got to say, it's kind of very surprised to see that we are the highest in the county. And so I think that it behooves us, the council, to do something about that. Today, I actually, one of the things I wanted to add was we currently belong to a organization called IVEDC, which is Imperial Valley Economic Development Commission. And I believe last year we spent close to $10,000 on a membership to be a part of IVEDC. And what they do is they bring businesses to cities in the county. The problem is that the businesses that they brought to us, as soon as they saw our fees, they took off and went to other cities like El Centro or Imperial or Hopeville. And so I think if we're going to continue spending $10,000 on a membership, we definitely need to be proactive in hopefully lowering our fees to make sure they come here. Today I actually had a meeting at Arizona University in Yuma, NAU, and we met with a few of the presidents of that university to look at their beautiful campus and also talk about a business incubator program that they're getting started there, and they're looking at coming to the valley. And what that is a place for people that want to start a business so that they won't pay rent. They can actually start it there for a few months, get their business going, and get up on their feet, and then have enough money to rent somewhere. So it's a good program, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Real. Ms. Hurtado.
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate our friend Carla Flores for winning this last Friday the Dancing with the Dream competition, dance competition. Dancing for a Dream is the second year for Imperial County, and it assists families with usually cancer issues. And she was dancing for a young man, so she was really happy because she's a cancer survivor herself. So congratulations to Carla, representing the city of Calexico. This actually this past Friday, hers was the Friday before. This past Friday was remembering my name, and what that was, in the different conversations that have been going on here in the city of Calexico with the lack of, or the needs for improvement in our police department, we found out that the city of Calexico hadn't had any rapes or anything like that reported, and so actually that's pretty disturbing in a city like ours. So I'm very interested now to be able to close up that gap as far as what domestic violence does out there, and issues such as rape, and make sure that we don't go any more years, because apparently it was 3 years without reporting anything. So that's very concerning for women and maybe even men who suffer from domestic violence. And so it was a great recognition to the victims of domestic violence. It was their first year, and so I'm really proud of them. That was very, very nice. Let's see. I know there was a little bit more, but actually you caught me off guard a little. I guess if I remember, I'll say something else. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hurtado. Mr. Castro?
Yes, I would like to congratulate the Jefferson Memorial Hospital Board because we had a great time on the event related to the healthy for the seniors citizens of the city of Calexico. And again, that's something that me, Armando Real, Mr. King, and John Moreno, we show up to the event. We supporting that kind of project, and that project is going to benefit the seniors and the quality of life for any senior citizen of Calexico. And again, I want to congratulate you and thank you for that kind of projects. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Mr. Moreno, please.
Thank you, Mayor Kim. I, too, was at the Heffernan Healthcare Memorial District Wellness Park ribbon cutting. And a lot of hard work is shown by these 5 ladies, 2 that are here tonight, 3 that are here tonight. And we extend our gratitude for all that you do. And not only for senior citizens, but for the community at large, because there are reports on childhood obesity and safe routes to schools and things of this nature where our youth need to get involved as well. So I thank you, ladies. I look forward to the other parks that you are going to work on. I believe Crummett is next, and the Nosotros as well. A great partnership with the city and the Joint Powers Authority. And speaking of the JPIA, which is another one, I took a 3.5-hour drive with our acting city manager, Nick Finley, and the Honorable Mayor Kim. And I earned my money in that road trip. 3.5 hours and back. But I know that's an item that is on the agenda that we will get to a discussion later. But I want to impress upon our acting city manager that Veterans Day is coming up a week from this Wednesday, or next Wednesday, I believe it is. It's the 11th. And I hope that our city continues in the tradition of having a celebration for our men and women who went overseas or on the home front and served our country, and most of those with honor. So make sure in your report, if you could just share just a little tidbit if we're going to have something on the 11th. I haven't seen anything advertised, but I know that many veterans of foreign wars are here, such as Daniel Raza Santillan and Frank Sapo Cuellar. So hopefully we'll be seeing you on the 11th. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. And first of all, congratulations on the Heffernan Board to accomplish some job done for taking care of the community and serving the community. And we should have this kind of project the more variety of the broad of the city of Calexico. And I believe all the council members are pushing to taking care of the parks more better. I believe little getting better, but we still have a lot of things to do it. And I'm gonna keep looking for the job for our community members. Then I have some kind of getting better notice right now. So I'm still looking into there. So make sure our citizens to get the better chance to get the jobs. And the other one is Mr. Moreno was mentioning Mr. Moreno and I and Mr. Nick Finley, and then we have the lawyer, Mr. Hargrave, is attend there to hold our concerns. So more details we're going to talk at the agenda's time. And also, I concur with Mr. Moreno. We should keep the tradition we starting last year about the ceremony of the Veterans Day at the monument front of the city, next to the city hall. So I hope we're gonna be doing it again. So I'm glad that we show them the JPIA. We show them we're working together. So we sometimes disagree, doesn't matter, but we went there together to benefit of the cities and to looking for the better for the cities. I'm glad we did it, regardless of what the result come, but it's not end of the process. We still have next process to do for the cities. Thank you. So now it's time for the city manager's report.
Good evening, honorable members of the council and members of the audience. I had the pleasure of attending the Heffernan Memorial District's ribbon cutting yesterday. This is just one of many ventures that we will be jointly involved in in time to come. They've been very active in our community, not only with this wellness program through our senior citizens program, but ambulances, defibrillators, it goes on and on and on. And I applaud these ladies because they've done a terrific and wonderful job. And I will continue working with you to the best of my ability to keep bringing things better for the city of Calexico and our residents. I had the pleasure of also attending the League of Cities last Thursday in Brawley. It was my first time attending, and I was able to meet other colleagues from cities throughout the valley. Information updates were given by SCAG and by Caltrans on upcoming projects, improvements on our roadways, and it was very informative. And last but not least, the city is working with our veterans. We will have the Veterans Day event again this November. Of course, we are preparing the program. We're getting everything ready to go, getting everything set up. So I believe it's set up for 10 a.m. on the 11th. I will verify that time, but of course, everybody is more than welcome to come. Give thanks to our veterans and for everything they have done for us. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. I have some question. When we gonna have a financial report? The financial status have been requested to maybe this meeting we can have some financial status.
We can have one prepared for you at the next meeting.
Next meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now I have a consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendars are to be considered routine by the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, or Calexico Financing Authority, and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separate by the City Council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull 8 and 9.
8 and 9?
Just kidding.
I would like to pull number 9. I'm not kidding.
2 items.
So, Ms. Hurtado, serious. The number 9 is pull out.
I'll move for the approval of item 8.
I second. Do we go both for the approving number 8?
Aye.
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 5-0, anonymous. Number 9. Ms. Hurtado?
Yeah, the last meeting that we had with regard to the warrants, the list of warrants, there was a good section missing. The style of the warrant or the report presentation is very different, and I don't know if the finance director wants to. The presentation is very different. I personally, with the finance experience that I have, I appreciate chronological order when you report, and not necessarily reporting by vendor. It probably won't make sense in a warrant wanting to make sure you're not missing anything, so you'd want to see it in chronological, in my view. However, there's a question here on this report that you have here, and if we look at the accounts payable, it says from October 1st to the 15th of October. That's the report I'm looking at.
Would
And
you
it
give us
starts
a
with-
page, please?
It doesn't have a page number on it?
Yes, they have page.
One?
Page 1?
And so the question is, did we start a new checking account or something? Because there's like 3 payments here that have a 0, so I guess that's probably like an electronic maybe transaction. And then we go along and we find many, many different transactions that have no check number on it. But the curious thing is that we jumped from the 2191, 2192, 2193 on October the 5th, and then October the 8th, we jump over to completely new version of numbers, which is a 10,001. So does that mean we started a new checking account?
Yes, basically, this is a new report, a new format that shows a significant number of checks. Basically, on this report, we switch back from the first page 1 of the report. The first 2 checks that you're referring to are for the all bank account, 2191, 92, 93.
So we've closed the Rabobank account already?
It's not closed because still we have activity remaining and some deposit. We are moving our accounting from Rabobank to Wells Fargo. So, starting October 8th, we start a new checking account with Wells Fargo. This is a new check number, serial number 1001.
Okay, so then the zeros then are electronic transactions? Is that what you're doing here?
That's ACH transaction, electronic transaction.
So then these reports will be including ACH. I guess then, so long as we know that that 0 means ACH.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and so what about the missing reports? Because now I've got like 3 different versions, and I want to make sure we're not missing anything for that one period. Do you recall? Do you recall when we had the last reporting that you skipped a whole, it was about a good two-week portion there of the warrants? I haven't received that just yet. It's been a while. Do you recall what I'm asking about? If you like, I can remind you in writing. However, what happened is you jumped a certain period of time of warrants. And so that period of warrants, I think it's important that we have it.
Yes, it is in development, sorry.
I'm sorry?
It will not be provided to the next meeting.
Okay. Or just email it to me. That'd be fine too.
Okay.
Motion for its approval?
I have some questions. Oh, you have some question?
I'm done.
Done? Anybody have a question on it?
I have a question on page 1, the top, vendor number 10034. So I see this $695 keeps coming up. Is it? And this is for cleaning of police vehicles. Can we call the chief, please?
What number is this, Mr. Real?
It's the first one on there.
What number?
Saul
Saul Aguilar, yeah. First of all, is this a specific person? Is he a business? Why is this check going out to his name? 695, and then I see it again. 695. Is it like a monthly contract that he's awarded?
What page?
First page.
Yeah, first page.
Okay, so
Saul.
I think it's just a person to do the car wash for the police department.
so he's not a business and he's getting a check from the city?
No, it's an individual.
Huh?
It's an individual business. I don't know.
And the business name is Saul Aguilar? Okay.
Call the chief.
I called the chief. And Chief,
Is there a certain point to that?
I don't know.
You know what?
There's a charge for $695 for car washes. Do you know if that's a monthly, is it a recurring monthly fee?
Yeah, it's a recurring monthly fee. They come out 2 days a week, and they do all the cars in our fleet.
But they are a business with a business license? Okay, because the check says here, it goes out to a person's name, so Saul Aguilar.
You know, I'll have to check into that. I'm not going to tell you that I know for sure, because I don't.
Okay, you can give us some,
I've been washing the cars before I got here for a very long time.
okay.
As a reminder to the public, the Finance Department does have a policy that no payment is issued to any individual for services in the city until such time that they do have a business license. That is supposed to be something that's supposed to be monitored by the Finance Department before issuing any payment.
Yep, I'll check into it.
Page 3, 10028, law offices of John McCall for grant writing services. Is this for the New River project? Is this something New River Committee is paying for? Is the city paying for it? Did we incur these fees? What's the reason?
It's the cost incurred. It was cost incurred for a grant writing, and so the city paid for it, and should be if we get that grant, then it's reimbursable.
Okay. It's not for sure we'll get the grant?
No.
Okay, and then page 4, 10030 to 10030, well, it's the same account. It's Lieber Cassidy Whitmore. So what exactly is this firm, exactly does this firm do?
Well, labor capacity is attorneys, counsel.
Attorneys, but,
Labor issues.
so they're the HR attorneys?
Correct.
Okay, and then the bottom of that page, Norman A. Trubb and Associates, those are also attorneys?
No, those are the investigators.
Those investigators? Okay.
And they're also background investigators for our police officers and our city employees.
Background, okay. And then page 5, Susan G. Mayer, is that the new person that's doing the consulting?
She's our consultant that we have in
For
finance.
for the finance?
Correct.
For the finance, okay. That's it?
I just wanted to correct the record. I found out that our car washer has had a license, and just have to check and see if it's current. When he was hired, he had one.
Is he doing a good job?
Yeah, he does a great job. He's fantastic.
Move for the approval of item,
I still have questions.
oh, I thought you were done.
Yes. I just let the council member do the question first.
All right.
Okay, I have page 6. I saw several, the lieutenant talkers, the bills. These all relate with the same issues or different issues?
I believe they're different matters, and these are pending bills that were back from July and August that we're catching up on. That was back.
It says there, Mr. Kim, it says water, sewer, police department matters, Grand Plaza, success report of entry. It explains it in the description.
So this one, anything, this one, all the bill, according to the date, this all bill for this September 1st.
They're bills from July and August.
So do we owe any the bills for the future? We need to
Not
send
that
them?
not that I'm aware of, but we can find out.
Okay. And the other one is, I believe we have a lot of investigation and still going on here. For example, Norman and Straub Associate, the 7,200 and 2,500. And next page, another one, 6,399. Another one's 1,005. So, I believe they're different case of the investigation or same case of investigations.
Without giving away the nature of the investigations, we still have about 13 criminal investigations going, and we also have several board cases that have gone to a board of appeals, and those investigators have to prepare and appear for those boards. So they're billing us for that part of the process as well. They get paid for attending and speaking as witnesses in the boards.
You mean we have a 13 investigation going on?
13 criminal investigations.
Criminal, just a regular criminal, not
Well,
internal
they're
investigation.
internal investigations, but they also happen to be criminal.
So I believe that Mr. Basti, you said the investigation is all done.
That's not what I said. I've tried to be very clear. What I said was the ones that I inherited from Chief Tavares, we've cleaned up that mess pretty much. I have one or two left of those. But we still have several that were discovered when we were conducting those investigations that we're still investigating, and those are still in process.
So you initiating more investigations?
Yeah, they came out of the old investigations of some stuff that we found out that was also covered up.
Okay, so you're still doing
Yeah,
the
so I still
police
have
department investigations?
Criminal investigations.
Okay.
As far as the just like I said, I don't know how many investigations. That's your business. But you did state that this year is somewhere around $400,000 that we spent in 2015.
Yeah, in 2015, the budget figure that was given to me in July at the end of the fiscal year was $340,000.
340, and then before you got here, there was another like $600,000 that was in investigations.
I don't have any idea how much was spent before I got here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I did, but I don't. I have not seen those figures.
Okay.
I got enough of this keeping up with my own budget.
So, okay, Mr. Finley, I requested two information. One is the whole total of the investigation depends on the case. It depends case by case. You don't have to be exactly case number, but case by case, how much we spent it the last 2 years. And the other one is I was requesting about the eminent dominions to cost us for the lawyer fees for the eminent dominions. So would you bring the next meeting?
Yes, that's for Cesar Chavez project?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So is there any council members have wish to discuss or questions?
There's a motion and a second. Aye.
Who seconded? Mr.
I think I
Moreno
did.
Motion?
I did not move because Mr.
So we were questioning.
But I will move now for its approval.
Second.
Okay. Second
Aye.
by Mr.
Aye.
Real. Aye.
Aye.
So we got number 9. Approve it. Ms. Hurtado? Oh, she's left? She might coming back then. Okay, number 10. Discussion as a potential item, action item. Number 10, discussion and the status of JPI meeting of October 28, 2015. This time, I request Mr. Lawyer, Mr. Bob Hargrave, to have a little comment on our meeting from there.
Yes, on this last Wednesday, what was it, October 29th? A group of us went up and addressed the CJPIA regarding the insurance coverage. They had issued a letter noticing their intent to cancel coverage for the city and cancel the city's membership in the CJPIA, which is the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority. The mayor, council member Moreno, city manager, and I, and Chief Bostic, went and addressed the executive committee and explained that the city, we acknowledged that the city had been through some rough times, but that the sense was that the city had turned a corner and that was pulling together behind our new acting city manager and making a real effort to provide a more, say, stable environment going forward. And I thought, all in all, we made a very good presentation. There appeared to be some substantial amount of support on the JPIA to keep the city, but ultimately there was a motion and it passed to go ahead and give us notice of termination of coverage. That notice, I believe, was delivered on Friday, the 29th, and we have 14 days to appeal that decision.
Thank you, Mr. Hargreaves. Mr. Finley?
Yeah, like Mr. Hargrave announced, I was at that meeting also, and the vote to cancel, the notice of intent, to file the notice of intent to cancel our city's participation in the Joint Protection Program was taken, and it was a 7-2 vote again in favor of issuing the notice of intent. The notice of intent will take effect actually January 1 of 2016, where we will be canceled as participating on the program. The notice was received by me on Friday the 29th, and we have a 14-day period to file a formal appeal for the intended action. And we are currently working along with the city attorney to file this notice. So we'll be filing this notice of appeal to the board, to the executive board, and we'll be submitting it in time. I have, just to give you a little bit of a follow-up, we have administrative staff working diligently in my office requesting proposals and meeting with other agencies who can provide this type of coverage that we need. So we plan to be ready for January 1. However, we're still going to appeal this decision, and hopefully they can reconsider. But yeah, we're getting our request and getting our proposals done. So we'll be ready for January 1. So we have some type of coverage and we continue to operate.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you,
if I may.
Mr. Finley.
If I may, I also, many of us spoke at length at that meeting, describing, we had questions and answers. They prompted us with some very open-ended questions, and we had the opportunity to be honest, to be sincere. I also felt that our presentation was above par and that the answers that we got weren't really what we wanted. But they did say the fact that we've never been delinquent in a payment since 1978 speaks volumes about the fiduciary responsibility of our council. In other words, our rating is good. We have a good rating with this insurance authority. We do not owe them the $4 million that was, $3 to $4 million that was discussed. The number after everything has been paid is still quite a bit, but it's not in the millions, it's 700,000. They spoke on the amount to appeal, it's 14 days. We've complied with 6 of the 7 standards on the performance improvement plan, which also is a sign of good governance, and that we had up until March of 2016 to complete all 7 of them. And according to Mr. Finney, it looks like we're going to be completed with the 7th one late November, early December, so that in time for if there is a chance to appeal, we would be able to present that. They can rescind the motion. They can decide upon themselves, well, maybe you guys are working and we're not that much of at risk to the other members of the authority. And that was their whole ideal was, you're at risk of all these other members, all these other municipalities that we have to serve. Finally, he also spoke on the quotes. They did emphasize that the council needs to stop micromanaging, needs to support the city administrator, whoever that may be, or who's ever in charge, and in this case, it's Mr. Findley, and to try to work together in a more unified manner. In essence, we need to stop fighting and bickering, and I think we've kind of moved in that direction in the last couple of meetings. So I just wanted to close with that, Mr. Findley and Mr. Mayor. So
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. So this is my chance to talk. Okay?
Please be short because you only have 3 minutes.
Yes. That's return to me. Okay, so first of all, we went there to show them your unity, and we tell them we had the issues, was true, but last couple of meetings we started working together to fix the problem. Especially council meeting is getting better, and the other one is I believe that our fellow council members to realize that we need to be conducting meeting as professionally. I'm glad they are working together to show our professionalism to the community. And also we told them we are now united. I was saying there were some words going on to micromanagement, but the micromanagement never been there, which is, as a council member, we have a right to know, we have to know to make the right decisions. And lots of information is been hidden. I was picked one of the case, our financial, our budget. Our financial was 10 months, lots of times we not in the records. So we don't know where we're standing, correct numbers. And as a council member, we ask the information, they're not doing it, so we do our job. But when they're asking, we said to them to whatever city manager's job duty, and at least 4 or sometimes 3 council members strongly support the city manager. We are strong forward supporting the city manager. We are ready to change our cities, and this is a chance for us to get better. And regardless JPI drop us or not, our duty, we have to get better for the betterment of the service to our citizens. So unfortunately, we failed it. Like Mr. Moreno said, we have a chance to change their mind. So we're going to appeal. We're going to work together. We're going to serve the community. This is the case for us to go next level of the city of Calexico. One day we're going to talking about our past. That times we can talk more positive things for the future of the Calexico. Thank you. So Mr. Leal or Mr.
Yes, in my case, in my position, the way I think, I believe there is some options. JPIA is not the only options for the city of Calexico. I spoke with the city manager, the acting city manager, Nick Fenley, and he told me that there is like 6 options to move forward on that situation. And the last option can be the city can insurance by itself with a consultant of another insurance. That's going to be the last options. So there is, I'm still thinking, and I know for a fact because I read the information, and like I said, it's not the only option, JPIA. That's it.
I just had a comment for maybe Mr. Finley, city manager, acting city manager, and staff, because there's some council members that are stating some things that they want to have the people feel their facts, and I just want to maybe a clarification. If JPIA was to cancel the city after the appeal, will we have light in the city?
Yes, we will.
Will we have water in the city?
Yes, we will.
Will we have air in the city?
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Finley, I believe you have a six option you mentioned.
What about night? Or are we going to have night as well?
We hope to have more.
So we are ready, no? We're ready, and I believe that we might gonna have a better position after all. So we work together. We are behind Mr. McFinley, so we will get through this one. Thank you. Okay, number 11. Proposed agenda for acting city managers between the city of Calexico and the Nick Finley. I been number 11.
Mr. Mayor, this is a contract that we have prepared, it's a proposal for Mr. Finley to memorialize his situation as acting city manager. Generally, what it provides is that he is acting city manager until replaced by the city council. He serves in that position at will until there's a permanent city manager established. At that time, he would go back to his existing position. The one item that needs to be specified in the contract is the salary. I know there's been some negotiations back and forth, but at this time it would be appropriate for the city council to discuss and act on Mr. Finley's salary as the acting city manager. And there again, the idea is that he would receive that salary while he's acting city manager, and then when he goes back to his original position, he would revert back to that salary.
I move we increase his salary as acting city manager to $135,000 a year.
I think we discussed 137 at the payroll schedule.
137, okay.
G70 and scale 5.
All right, I rescind my motion and I'll make the correction of $137 a year.
$109.
$137, $109 for this specifically. 137, 109.
I
Okay.
second.
And that's the pay level at
G70 payroll schedule 5.
I call for the question.
Is any, Mr.
I'm supporting that.
So,
Aye.
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 3 to,
Non-votes, two
non-votes, 2 non-votes. Thank you. So number 12 is done. Number,
Can we go ahead then
Number
and have an
12.
action on the proposed contract with the city attorney will fill in the appropriate blanks and we'll go forward and get that contract
It'll
executed.
come back on the consent calendar for next time, right?
Or you can act on it right now.
we already approved it
Okay.
today, no?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, approved on the contract and the amount.
This initiates today,
Well, that's something.
or initiated when he was acting.
I think the
Yeah,
idea was to make
initiating
it
after the act.
retroactive. The pay is retroactive
Okay.
to the date he commenced. So could we have a motion then just to approve?
So moved.
Second? So
Aye.
we both?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Castro, aye. Mr. Real?
Aye.
4, 1 non-vote. Okay, we got number, congratulations, Mr. Finley. Mr. Finley, congratulations,
Thank you very much.
I think.
acting city manager. Okay, now number 12. I think this one needs the Mr. Finley field areas.
I had a question for clarification. Kim, can you let us know why this is on here? What exactly are we looking at here?
Well, because I heard about we're gonna have we might have to return the EDA money, the $3 million. So I want to know where we're standing on the EDA, the project.
In 2007, the city was awarded $3 million from the
Yeah, EDA.
EDA
EDA.
To do
for the
town
work
center.
on the town center. And my impression is Mr. Kim wants a status update.
Yes.
I believe we didn't meet our obligations as far as the employment
So,
numbers. And
so that's why I'm asking Mr. Finley.
Yeah, basically, the part of the EDA grant reporting, part of the grant agreement was that the EDA requires the city to report the job creations and private investment created, and to report this job creation generated every 3, 6 to 9 years from when the grant date of award. In the third year of the grant reporting, it was submitted to the EDA, which was August 29th of 2011, was the job creations were reported as 0. Okay, and so then the sixth year, which was the next reporting year, which was June 30th of 2014, once again the reporting of the jobs generated was 0. Basically, this project has not taken off the ground. The staffing or the employment requirements have not been met at this time. And so the next reporting date is July 1st of 2017.
So next year, the report due date is July 1st, 2017. So if we don't create the job, 1,000 jobs, and at that time, what are we going to do? What do we have to do?
We're going to be researching that as to who's going to be responsible for the grant and what the conditions of the grant will be and how that money will be reimbursed.
Who has money?
There's no money there. The money has been put into the project. The money was out into the project. It's not in the developer's hands in any way, shape, or form.
So $30 million spent the money on the project?
Correct.
My understanding is that there's some finger pointing from 3 different entities, one being IID, one being the city of Calexico, and one being the developer as to who's at fault for the misplacement of some electrical boxes. And so nothing can be built there because these electrical boxes are under the water line. And so that would be extremely dangerous to build there. But I think I would like to give city manager direction to, do some homework on this, some due diligence, and find out, who's at fault and how do we correct the problem? At one point, there was $3 million spent and nothing's happened with it. I think that's unacceptable. So.
Okay, before we do more talking, I think I missed the public speech. Mr. Holton, Benjamin Holton wants to talk to number 12. Let the public talk first and then keep talking about this.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the City Council residents of Calexico. I have been up here many times to talk about the town center. I have a file here that I put together myself that does point some fingers and answer some questions about what took place and what did not take place in reference to the town center. It is now for us as a body, if need be, not to point fingers, but to be part of the solution to move this forward. We do have the opportunity, and I would like to move this forward so eventually we can meet with Will Smith from the EDA and say, we have started something, now let's move forward and get something else started in order to get the city working.
Will Smith, Will Marshall.
Will Marshall.
Will Smith is a superstar.
I know. I stand corrected.
You're thinking of Men in Black, the movie?
Okay, well, getting back to this, Mr. Al talked about the incubator. We won't be able to start anything until we get this solved. And I'm willing to talk to the city manager share this file to be part of the solution. Let's move forward and adjust. And like when you talk about success, when you have success, you have many parents. When you have a failure, you have just an orphan. I do not want to be that way. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Holton. Mr. Finley, I believe this one is project under Mr. Kevin Smith, Townsend Plaza.
He was the original developer, yes.
So developers spend money on the $3 million on the project. But
It was
what happened to
EDA
$3
money.
million then?
EDA money was spent on the project.
Yeah, there's something that the developers spend EDA money $3 million on the project,
Correct.
Correct.
Streets, sidewalks, gutters.
but nothing
Infrastructure.
been built, nothing been on the creator jobs.
Nothing
No
has been,
projects.
nothing has been built because the electric boxes, nobody wants to take responsibility for why those boxes are under the water line. And so nothing can be built there because it's a electrical hazard if you build anything there and put power to it, because it'll shock everybody. I don't know what'll happen. So anyways, there's a problem that needs to be fixed. It's not necessarily the developer's problem that there was something, there was multiple, like I said, it was IID, the city of Calexico, and the people building the project that somehow something went wrong there.
So it looks like a plan flawed.
Correct. There was yeah. But my understanding is there are ways to correct it, raising the boxes, and it's not that expensive. And so there is,
Then why they don't do it?
in other words, it can be fixed. That's what I'm
But
saying.
why they don't do it then?
That's something that Mr. Finley can look into. I'm assuming it'll,
Then
if
they
we
can-
give him
they can-
direction.
They can build something
Exactly.
there?
Believe me, I'm guessing that the owners of the property also want something to happen with it. I don't think they just want it to stay like that forever. And so
But-
it behooves all of us to.
But
or,
why not
you
they
know,
doing that?
Well, I don't know, but let's get Mr. Finley on that.
Mr.
you know,
Finley?
when
Or
he goes-
Mr. Selvin?
Real quickly, the boxes are not underwater. The IID alleges
Not
that
yet.
they're going to be in the flood area. And the problem, without pointing any fingers, is that the developer and IID base their design on a set of plans that were not signed by the city engineer at the time. And so, when the city completed their plans, they were signed with stamp, and they showed that the street was 2 feet lower. But that's not quite the issue. The issue is that the road and the sidewalk is up here, and the boxes are down here. So conceivably, they say that it's going to be underwater, when in fact, the actual water elevation for the flood is shown to be at a number that's slightly below the actual pad elevation. So in fact, it's not even in the flood zone. I tried to clarify that to IID, but IID is just holding tight to their position.
Okay.
I was working with Kevin Smith to try to get this thing resolved last year, and he's got some projects, and there's a lot of projects just pending. I'm trying to work with him.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Finley, can you have some kind of like to bring the more information how we can handle this?
Yes, I will. I should have it before the next meeting if I'm able to meet with Mr. Smith.
Thank you. So,
13.
is there any council member who wants
Nope.
to talk about the number 12?
I'm good.
So we're gonna go to number 13 then. Number 13, we have Mr. Holton wants to speak. Mr. Benjamin Holton.
This is the next item?
Yeah, number
13.
13.
Let's have background information first before anybody speaks. And could you read the title of number 13?
Okay, Mr.
I'll read it.
Hargrave, so would you read the ordinance?
I can, oh,
Lawyers, language is better.
The title on number 13?
Yes.
Introduce and waive first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calexico repealing ordinance number 1144 and amending section 2.02.110 and chapter 2.07 of the Calexico Municipal City Code regarding the appointment process and duties of the city clerk.
Okay. Would you, Mr. McFinley, was explain on this?
I would like to actually hear from the attorney as far as, is this, my understanding is that most cities have it the way that we're trying to vote on it tonight versus the way it is now? Is that normally in other words, what I'm saying is, are we off?
It's an elected position. It was an elected position before, and now it's an appointed position.
So would this
Elsa?
make it an elected position again?
No, not this one. This one only for the city, when they had 2000, I believe 12, they put on the city manager, city clerk. So city clerk has to listen to the city manager to what to say, not to do it. So that's why we having trouble to cancel the meeting by the city manager, or council member calls the meeting, city manager stops it. The the city clerk has to listen to the city manager's orders. But the other cities, there are other cities that are the one under the council, city clerks under the council.
Okay, let's hear from staff, I guess.
Yeah, well, typically, I mean, one way to do it is to have the city clerk elected, but you...
That's how it was here for
Right.
years, city clerk and city treasurer.
And the city opted out of that. And-
Right.
And typically what happens if you don't have an elected city clerk is the city clerk is a member of the administrative staff, subject to the city manager on a day-to-day basis, but it's ultimately the city council, that has the power to appoint and to terminate the city clerk. It's one of the few positions, along with the city attorney, that the city council has the direct authority typically to appoint and to terminate. So that's the way, in my experience, it's typically done, but
Ours is not like that now.
right now, I believe it's set up so that the city manager appoints the city clerk, which,
And Mr. Kim had brought this item up. He wants to go back to having an election to elect the city clerk.
No,
Uh,
not that. So to put under the council, not under the city manager. That's.
To be under the authority of the council, not the city manager.
What's wrong with the way it is now?
Apparently, since the city manager has the authority over the city clerk, there's that possibility of items not being put on the agenda that are requested by the council going through their process, 1, 2, and the city manager able to, even though it's illegal, to cancel council meetings at any time.
Is this what we're discussing here today, this item?
Basically, the item is to put the authority of the city clerk back under the council, not the city manager.
And is that the way it is in most cities
of
that
cities.
don't?
Correct.
Bob, is that, Mr. Harvey?
that's been my experience. I haven't done a poll, but I mean, most of the cities I've worked with, that's the way it's been done. The city council ultimately has the authority to appoint and remove the city clerk.
And oversee the city clerk.
Right.
Well, I think it's working the way it is. I'm not sure why does this have to go to a vote to the populace of Calexico?
No.
No, this is an ordinance of the city council.
Okay. So you want to control the city clerk, is that right, Mr. Kim?
Under the council, like other cities. Council control, not.
So
me.
let me ask a question. By voting yes on this tonight, does that mean that you take complete authority from Nick to be able to work with?
No, she's
the
still,
city?
Nick, the city manager still working with the city clerk.
Is she gonna need to call the council every time that you give her?
No.
Okay,
I still have the authority to put the items that I need on the agenda to run the city day to day.
Okay.
That authority stays
I
there.
mean, if it's not broken, why fix it?
It's broken.
I don't think it's broken. I think it works just fine.
We have cases.
Okay, so
That way, city manager can stop the meeting, cancel the meeting by city manager.
so let me, okay, so right now, for example, if a city council member like myself wants to put an agenda item on banning red balloons and you don't want to put that on there, you have that authority right now.
Currently, yes.
But
And-
if this was to pass, then if you say no, I could still go to the city clerk and say, I want to ban red balloons, put it on there.
The
Well, we
majority
have-
of the
we have a-
consensus
the
of one of the
agenda ordinance.
other member of the
Agenda
council.
ordinance.
Two council members who
Correct.
want to ban red balloons.
Yes.
It'll be on there.
Yes.
Correct.
But right now, you have the authority.
To,
Or any city manager that comes in can say, I
Well,
like red balloons, no way.
City manager said the city clerk don't do it, and city clerk has to listen to the city manager.
correct.
Okay.
That's where, it's my authority if
But it's gotta
if
be
I choose
two-
not to have it on
Two
there.
council
But it has to be
members.
two council members.
Yes.
That's
It can't
correct.
just be one council member going in there and saying, Kim can't go in there and say, I want this on the agenda, I'm your boss, do
Well, he
it.
does it anyway.
We have agenda policies.
The
So,
agenda policy will continue to
yeah,
follow.
we continue to do it. The city manager doesn't have stopped on those things.
Right, the agenda policy itself is not before you tonight. What's before you is who appoints the city clerk,
So-
whether it be the city manager or the city council.
Well, what I see happening here, excuse me, if you will, is now that the city clerk is under the direction of the city council, and that particular person, I'm sure will get bombarded with many items to be put on the agenda, rather than going through administrative staff. I don't know if that's good governance, but I think the way we have it now is working just fine.
Don't we have a limit on agenda items anyways?
Well, there again, the agenda policy is distinct, and we
Yeah,
have an
agenda
agenda
policy is
policy, and
stated.
that's not going to change.
So right now, the only thing on here, the only thing we're voting on is whether the council can pretty much fire and hire the city clerk.
Right, I mean, right now, the way it stands, if you didn't like the way the city clerk was performing her duties, you could not terminate her, you would have to
Go through Nick Finley,
You'd have to
the city
terminate the
manager.
city manager if you know, I mean, the city,
We're good
I
at
believe
terminating city managers. I don't think we should be terminating any more city clerks. I mean, we've shown that we're, very good at terminating city managers.
right.
I would like to, I think I'd like to see how other cities in the county have it.
It's
And
an
then-
elected position
In every
by the people,
In every other
in
city?
every city in this county.
And
don't we go that route?
under the council.
Go back to what
Let's
we
go
had
that
before?
route. Yeah, let's get an elected position.
So we're going
I'm
to waste,
for that.
put money on, how much is this going to cost for,
No, but we can.
No,
we
you
can-
just wait for the next
You can wait for the
We can
next
for the next
election in
election.
November when it can run concurrently with the council election at that time.
So meanwhile, we can put under the council, like other city, but it's not going to be, nothing much has been changed, just the city clerk, the city clerk doesn't control by the city managers only. That way, we secure any council member wish to follow the step of the agenda policy is going to be there.
I think this has micromanagement written all over it.
No, it's not the micromanagement. It's,
You
all
know,
the cities, the
They
city
don't want to
clerks
call
there.
it that, but it's got micromanagement written all
All
over
the
it.
cities has a city clerks under the
And
council.
I think we need to do less micromanagement, Mr. Kim. That is my opinion.
I make a motion that we continue it to the next council meeting. Let me do a little more homework on other cities, and maybe the next council meeting we can put, so that we go to the elected position, maybe, if the balance of the
No.
council feels that way.
Well,
I don't see
that
anything wrong with the
position
way
we
it's going on right now.
Still can go to next year, so we don't.
But
have
go ahead and do your homework,
next times. So if you want to
So
continue
there's a
to the next
motion to
meeting,
continue it?
I'll second
for the
it.
next meeting.
Second it to continue.
Thank you. Okay, hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 14. Temporary deduction of development impact fees and the building planning and the fires fees for the residential areas only. And this one, I believe that we will give the
There should-
direction to,
Is there any public comments? Public comments, is there any on the item?
Mr. Real, I think this is a good item, but I think the proper protocol would be first to allow planning commission.
we have a public comment.
Yeah, I know, but the planning commission should have a healthy discussion on this item since this is part of their jurisdiction.
Okay, Mr. Holton, would you come to?
City Council. Earlier in the meeting, Councilwoman Bertano talked about that there was no backup information. I take issue with that, and I take issue with that very strongly. There is backup on there. drive. It's a lot of information. Even the city manager said it's a lot of information. So there's no need to say there's no backup information. There is. You may have to prepare flash drives to give to each city council person so they can look at what we put together by the request of the city council. And that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And you do have a backup information. Now, we have a lot of businesses that, I shouldn't say, we have businesses that come to Calexico looking to locate here, and they're driven away by our fees. Now, there are certain people saying, well, these are our fees. The fees were put together years ago, and they say our fees are higher than El Centro, but remember, El Centro and other cities didn't have the opportunity to revamp their fees like we did. Before the financial drop off the cliff mode, we went ahead and raised our fees when other cities did not. It's in the report, and also in the report, it gives you a state required or something within the regulation that no municipality is charged more than what it costs you in order to prepare your fees. Now, you're trying to tell me that El Centro may have one fee of about $800, we have it at $9,000. There's something really seriously wrong. I'm sure the city manager will provide you a flash drive where you can research that. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holton.
Let me get some backup since it's my my agenda item that we're talking about.
Mr. Real, I'll clarify that one. That one we approved the last year, so by September,
No, but this is
March
this is a
14.
complete. What agenda item is that?
It was reducing the impact fees.
No, this is a different. What I put on here is different. It's not reducing. It's matching. So it's a different concept. But
Well,
let me talk on that and then.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you guys passed it in March, how come nobody did anything about
Because I was arguing several times the city manager is not doing it, and
okay.
they're
Well-
not doing it. So
well,
even the last meeting, I was talking to Mr. Finley to implement it.
Well, okay. Well, like I said, it's maybe a little different concept. This is my interpretation of what I think should change in the city of Calexico. I just compared, like I said, I compared us to other cities in the county. You know what? There's a reason. But let me kind of give you guys a history of what I feel happened. When the real estate boom happened in the 2000s to 2005, 2006, I think that the city of Calexico saw the opportunity to make some extra money and conducted what they call a Maxima study. And the Maxima study is pretty much a way for the city to know how much they can charge, what's the max they can charge and get away with it, pretty much. That's what it is. It's not, how, an average. It's how much can we charge before, before somebody sues us. And we had, some council members adopted that. I don't know who was on the council, but they did. Now, that was in 2008, I believe, or 2007, something like that. What happens next? The recession comes. And other cities adapted by lowering their fees, and Calexico just kept them that way. Right now, you talk to any developer, any business owner, anybody that wants to start a business in the city of Calexico will tell you, our rates are ridiculous. And I'm just going to go through a few of them here. An appeal for planning commission, city of El Centro is $1,900. Here it's $5,600. General plan amendment, city of El Centro is $2,500. Calexico is $22,595. Zoning variance, city of El Centro, $867. City of Calexico, $9,583.
Mr. Real, before you go on, where's this information from? How come we don't have a copy?
I can give you a copy here.
Okay, thank you.
And so, what I do believe the city of Calexico, what we need to do is do a study not like that Maximo study that's comparing us to cities in LA, because we're not being compared to cities in LA. We're being compared to our competition for bringing business, which is El Centro, Imperial, Brawley, Hopeville, and our local cities. We need a city staff to conduct a study on what are the lowest fees in the county, and us to match those fees. Not necessarily be lower, but at least be competitive. If
This is Calexico's, where's El Centro's?
Right there.
Okay.
That's one of them is El Centro, one of them is Calexico.
Okay.
And so what I'm proposing right now is that we vote on matching the fees of other cities in our surrounding area, not lower than them, but matching, and also give direction to the city manager to conduct a study and make sure that we're at the same rate as El Centro, Imperial, and every other city in the county, to make sure that when a new business wants to come into the city of the ones that are already here, we paid our fees and we're here. But we need to stimulate our economy. We need to match the fees. If somebody comes from El Centro and wants to open a restaurant and they come to Calexico and it's $50,000 to start it, but in El Centro it's $30,000, let's match it. Let's make sure they stay here. Let's make sure that we get businesses here to Calexico. So, like I said, my motion is not to lower the fees lower than what anybody's charging. My motion is that we match all city fees when it comes to, let me rephrase that we match fees when it comes to businesses, building permits, fire inspection fees, and all these fees. If other cities can charge that, we can too.
I'll second for discussion. I think this is a great concept, and you've got a lot of information here. Although I would rather see a workshop where we'd have our members from the fire department prepared, our members from the planning department prepared to share this information, get back to us, and then what about those, for example, like the Grand Plaza, who were part of this development fee schedule? What'll happen now that they're expanding, or is that just, do we grandfather them in, or that's something that we need to discuss? Rather than make a motion on this right now, I think there needs to be discussion with the fire department, with the planning department, at a workshop, under the auspices of a planning commission meeting, where everybody is here and everybody gets to discuss. Because if you're going to make a blanket statement and match everything, well, how's that going to affect our budget that we are planning to approve? Is that going to, of course, it's going to lower a lot of things. And where's that $700,000 going to come from to pay for the JPIA? We have to take all these considerations into effect before you start making a motion, before you start lowering fees. We need to have a discussion at least a couple of times, a couple of workshops, so that people are aware of the magnitude that this will have, not only on our budget, but on the impact that it will have on development at the same time. When you're right, in 2007, 2008, Calexico was in a boom. There were many projects on the table, many housing projects on the table being built. And you're right, Calexico took advantage of that demand for those projects by raising the fees and the fire fees. I believe it was on the planning commission when these things were going up. But I think we need to bring it back to a workshop, open town hall kind of thing, and look at the figures and see how it'll affect the departments before we make any or take any action tonight, Mr. Real.
I would just like to add that to prolong this is just I believe that at the end of the day, more meetings, it's going to take months, maybe even a year to lower this. And you know what? There's other, you drive around El Centro, drive around Imperial, everybody's building, everybody's getting things done except us. We have a few things coming, and that's great. But we're not growing at the rate that we should.
But I think you should hear from the fire department. You should hear from the planning department on a workshop basis. I'm not saying do away with it. I think we've done 3 or 4 years without it. What's a month?
And you know what, John, Mr. Romano, you're right. We do have to ultimately, like I said, right now it's just a vote to match fees and Mr. Finley, at the same time, we're giving direction so that we get a workshop going, get it through planning, and then bring it back with more input on where exactly we are compared to the other cities. A study, I guess, a rate study. I guess that would be the correct wording. But like I said, for right now, our businesses are hurting. We need to do something. We need to stimulate the economy. I think that voting on just matching these fees for now, and like I said, I personally support that and think that's what we should do. And as far as it, yeah, we might lose. I think 8% of 8% of the budget is the fees that we bring in. I mean, we might lose half of that, but the idea is that, or I'm not sure exactly how much we'll lose, but we will increase the sales tax. When I hear cities say, hey, we got a shrimp farm that's going to create 300 jobs in Imperial, that shrimp farm was going to be here. I remember them talking about it. What happened? They left. Why? We're too expensive. We're losing these businesses, and like I said, I hope I have support to match these fees.
The support is there, but I think if we take action on this right now, we haven't really analyzed the problem. We're jumping the gun, and there needs to be some analyzation, some evaluation, and then some decision making. I mean, we could lower. Let's say that the sprinkler systems cost so much here, but we can lower them to this, make it even lower than El Centro, or match them. Or you know what I mean? We got to look at these items and how they're affected.
No, and we definitely should.
And I support this, but I would rather have a workshop so everybody can give their input, and everybody. And I do agree with this. We are high. Our fees are way out of sight. But if we take action now and memorialize it without having done the proper analysis, I'm just saying one meeting, maybe two. A workshop so that we get input from our departments.
What if I change my motion to maybe to go ahead and implement this matching of fees for a 60-day period while we go ahead and do the workshop, and then come up with another plan that the planning can give us, and then we can vote on that? But yeah, well, we can do it now, but we can.
I believe we need to. I'm hearing you, and you have a good point, because the way it is affecting our budget, is affecting our city, is affecting our business owner, and what I understand, you want to give direction to the city manager to look to other cities in order to match, with the city of Calexico, matching those fees close to what the other cities are.
Let me clarify. I think maybe what John and everyone's thinking, that, for example, I'm a business owner and I pay $500 a month. A year in a business license. So because of this passing, this, now I'm going to pay what El Centro would pay. That's not where I'm trying to get to. What I'm talking about is new development, and then we can do the study, and then change all that once we have planning and we get some meetings going with the council and people and the public. I think what I'm talking about right now is, I think it's an emergency that we match fees for new construction, new businesses that want to come to Calexico and create jobs. People like Grand Plaza, I'm sure that there's stores that want to come into Grand Plaza, but they see the fees and they're too high. So I'm talking about new development right now, but at the same time open it up so that the council can come together and not just do the new development, but business license, fire inspection fees. For example, fire inspection fees. City of El Centro charges $47 for a fire inspection fee, whether it's a small building or whether it's Walmart. It's the same fee. City of Calexico, we charge some restaurants up to $200 just for each stove, or I guess what they call the campana, or what are the hood, or so. we need to be business friendly. We need to take the good with the bad. Some houses you're going to do in 15 minutes. Some houses you're going to take an hour. But some businesses you'll do an hour. But if you put a flat rate, I think it definitely helps out. So I think maybe John's thinking that we're talking about all the fees. I'm talking about new development. That's to bring in new people now.
Well, let's ask our staff. What do you think is the best approach to Mr. Real's concept?
Well, basically, we're here to take direction as to wherever you guys choose to proceed, and it's feasible. Like I believe is bringing in businesses. We need to bring in businesses. We need to attract them in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. What I was saying is last year we already last year about the March, we council approved it to temporary cut up to 50%, and then same time they supposed to have the fee study and never been implementing by the city staff. And now I see there's some kind of like a minute is been altered. The different than council approved it. It was approved the residential only, temporarily up to 50% lower the fees, the impact fees and the application fees that was called, that then supposed to be studied and nothing been done.
Okay.
So now also Mr. Mr. Real to say the matching fund is difference, but it's the same one.
Well, let me just
like you said, señorita or muchacha.
No, actually, because Matt, what you're saying that you passed last year, for example, a zoning variance, which is $867 in El Centro, and in Calexico is $9,583. If you passed a 50% reduction, we're still paying $5,000 for something that El Centro charges $800 for. I'm saying we need to match the other cities in the county so we can bring the business here, because if not, listen, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, they're gonna keep leaving. That's why our Imperial looks like this. That's why our gas stations are like that. And like I said, we need to match any other city right now. I think it's imperative.
One of the questions I have is, why is it so high compared to other cities?
Because the council at that time just said, how much can we make? And that's when I think Ralph Vallis was the city manager and everybody got a raise. I mean, the whole city got raises that time, and hey, we're not living in those glory days anymore. We need to come back to reality.
Well, I think it's a great idea, but I'd rather do more analysis, and I think we should have a special workshop for this, Mr. Real, and really dissect it and break it down.
Well,
okay,
like I said,
and just have this one item on the agenda.
So you're gonna send your second?
Well, I sent it for discussion. But I really
are we gonna
think
vote?
we should really bring it back.
And we will. We will for everything else. Right now, like I said, it's only for matching fees on new development, not existing business licenses or anything. We can work on that as well when we do everything. Right now, it's just, for example, anyone that wants to come in and do new development now will match the city's fees to get the economy going. And once we do a workshop, once we do a workshop with planning and business owners and everything, and the staff, we're also giving direction to the staff to take cities like El Centro, Imperial, Brawley, see what they're charging,
right,
and then make sure that we're not necessarily lower, but that we're metered at that level, because from $800 to $9,000,
I agree with you. It's outrageous. Let me ask the city attorney a question. If we were to change the ordinance, would it still take 30 days to go into effect?
Yes. Let me just comment on the development impact fees. The way that's structured under the law is that, the idea is that when development comes to the city, it imposes certain impacts on the city, both in terms of staff time and facilities. And what you do is, and I'm sure it's probably done in this case, you have someone do an impact fee study when they go out and they say, okay, if someone does a, 10,000 square foot commercial building, what's the impact on signals, what's the impact on sidewalks, what's the impact on police facilities, on fire facilities. Anyhow, they have ways of studying this, and they come up with a number. It's not like you just go for whatever number.
There's a
you think you can
formula.
go. Well, there's a process, and you come up, okay, and it's got to be, it's got to be detailed, and you got to follow a process, because otherwise you can be sued on it. And so the experts come in and they say, okay, this is what the impact is, and then the city has the option of adopting an impact fee up to that amount. That establishes the maximum. You can't go over that, or it becomes a tax, but you can go up to that, and apparently that's what
That's what the
city
maximum
did.
study did,
Yeah,
correct.
it said this is the maximum amount you can do.
Let's charge as much as we can.
But there's no requirement that you charge that amount.
Correct.
And you can charge something less. And I'm not familiar with there's different ways of doing it. Normally, you have an
This would be a
ordinance.
moratorium, right?
Well, normally you set up the impact fees with an ordinance, and then you establish the actual number with a resolution. There's a resolution out there that says, the impact fee for a general plan amendment is this, and for a 10,000 square foot commercial building is that. And if it's just a resolution, you can go ahead and change that, and it's effective immediately.
Okay.
If the fees are written into an ordinance, which I doubt is the case, then it would take, you have to amend the ordinance, go through 2 readings, 30 days. But if you're going to change them tonight, the important thing is to be specific enough so staff knows what the fees are and the public knows what the fees are. Because if you just say match it, you don't really know what you're matching it to. So, if you said cut them in half, everything out there in half,
It's very ambiguous.
we don't
Very
really
vague.
have in front of us, I would suggest that you direct staff to, and maybe it is, cut them by 50% and come back with a resolution to that effect so that we can actually see what they look like, so you can actually adopt something.
Well, we have another paperwork here from the city of El Centro. Then if saying matching is not,
But let's look at
maybe the
Imperial, let's look
correct
at Brawley,
word.
let's get those,
Let's-
might as well get them all.
Why don't we match El Centro for now?
Well, let's take a look what Brawley does. Let's look what Imperial does.
Well, El Centro's the lowest.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
Okay, okay, so
anyways.
let me talk.
Okay.
You guys talk now, now my turn to talk.
We
Okay.
have 3 minutes, be short.
Oh, you got 15 minutes talking, now you only do 3 minutes. Okay, the first of all, we already approved the last year, up to the 50%. So, we have the city manager is supposed to be implementing that one, this never been happens. So, the city manager can do today or if immediately to go to 50% deduction all the application, inspection fee, applications, and impact fee for the residential. We already did it last year. But same time, the city manager can go for the study to how we can lower, or we can. I believe the business license right now is on the state. Business is very slow in Calexico. Our license method is very highest way to implementing depends on our sales. There's a highest way to charge the business license to method. We might have to go back to the size of the business. We might have to go study on those. So might as well to our city manager go to study if the lowering the city business license fees to be further New Year's coming in, to lower the city license fee to match it the nearby the city temporarily. We lower that, and at the same time we do study for the business license and impact fees and all the fees we supposedly to impact fee, and that was called the application fees and inspection fees.
I got that.
We all have to go to study on those through the planning departments, all those things. But temporarily, we already been the tools. City manager has it. Already last year, we already approved it up to the 50%. So city manager can implementing all the from now on until we get the study coming in.
To be honest with you, Kim, 50% is still not enough. I mean, you know what? I'm going to rescind my motion, And I'm going to make a motion that what we do is we match the city of El Centro's planning and zoning user fee schedule, because 50%, I don't think it's enough. And if I have the votes, I have the votes. If not, we're going to go through months of talking about it, and nothing's going to happen. The same thing that happens all the time. We've been talking about a sign ordinance for 6 months, and we can't get it done through planning or through the council. 6 months.
Let's
and
jump
nothing
into the pool.
happens.
I don't care how deep the water is. Let's just jump into the pool. Who cares how deep it is? Come on, Mandy. Let's have a workshop. Let's discuss this.
We'll have a
more
workshop,
analysis before we. Our staff is confused.
I think
They don't know what you're asking
that we match the El Centro's fees. That's it.
without any analysis. Just
if
like that.
If El Centro can do it, why can't we? They're growing and we're not.
Okay, before we do something,
They don't have a
there's a
border,
first and a
They
second.
don't have a border.
Yanis wants to talk.
I know. Before Yanis was this gentleman right here with this gentleman here. Usted, señor.
Armando Martinez,
Yeah, he was first, and then
and
Yanis.
then Mr. Yanis.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Armando Martínez y tengo un negocio de Calexico. Tengo ya más de 10 años en el negocio. Y la razón de la cual he estado muy cercano a esto es porque he visto una ineficiencia por parte del municipio, no particularmente ustedes, sino de los que han estado atrás en otros tiempos, ¿no? Ahorita lo que discutía Mendy a mí me pareció una propuesta bastante atractiva. No sé cuántas personas de aquí en el lugar sean comerciantes y entenderán que la situación que impera ahorita es crítica y la mayoría estamos existiendo. Ustedes como municipios tienen una tarea bastante dura en la cual tienen que trabajar sobre este asunto, ya que está cada vez prolongando más esta situación. La propuesta que hace Mandy a mí me parece algo que se tiene que hacer de ya, no podemos esperar. Yo fui presidente de la Asociación de Microempresarios en un proyecto que tenía negocios y lamentablemente no se concretó nada porque todos los negocios que surgieron de ese proyecto, todos se fueron haciendo, precisamente por lo costoso que es el abrir un negocio. Entonces, cada vez estamos buscando la manera de frenar. Aquellos que quieren poner freno, posiblemente no son comerciantes y tienen un salario de algún trabajo que les está remunerando y tienen, vamos a decir, que la vida resuelta. Pero nosotros que estamos en este asunto, estamos preocupados, señores. ¿Por qué? Porque cada vez vemos negocios que cierran. Hoy, en un paseo por el Price Entry, se ve completamente reducido el negocio, cuando otras veces era un lugar muy próspero. Entonces, yo les pido por favor a ustedes que no estén sobrando más este tema. Es urgente que lo resuelvan de ya. Si siguen cobrando esas cuotas excesivas de las licencias y aparte ahora otra cosa que se nos sumó también con relación al Departamento de Planeación, en relación a los letreros donde nos están cobrando cuotas bastante excesivas de hasta 150, 450 dólares solo por tener nuestro sign que nos identifica como negocio. Entonces, básicamente lo que están haciendo es que están usando a quienes están dando a ustedes de comer. Van a llegar el momento que yo pienso que no van a...
Mr. Armando. Yes. Thank you. Mr. Yanis?
Good evening, council members, members of the public. The reason that I come here to speak to you council members, I've been in the development business for more than 25 years, and I have built houses and commercial buildings in the whole valley. And believe me, Calexico is one of the highest When the business was prosperous in 2003, I moved to build houses in Chile, El Centro, Brawley, other cities. And I didn't build anything until this year. I'm just going to put a small example. I'm building a house right now in 3rd Street, 902 3rd Street. And when I came to pay the fees, it was a shock for the owner. We had to pay close to $20,000 on fees. School fees, impact fees, building fees, everything. But that's not the incredible thing. The house was only 890 square feet. Two bedroom, 2 beds, and a small kitchen. I was shocked with those amounts, and I charged the owner close to $70,000, $75,000 to the construction, but $20,000 were only for the impact fees. That was really high. I wanted to ask a variance because the building department requested that I had to build a garage, and I wanted to request a variance not to build a garage because that area in 3rd Street is an old area, and we don't have garage in all those areas, and we put a few samples about it. But what happened? When I wanted to ask a variance, they told me, you can ask a variance, I will try to get it approved. But I was shocked again. $9,000 to ask for the variance. Just to ask a question to the planning department, $9,000. Is that fair? We decided to build the garage, $20,000 more than the garage. It was cheaper to build the garage than to ask the variance to request not to build the garage. And believe me, the owner is going to invest close to $100,000 just on the building itself, plus $20,000 on the impact fees, $120,000, plus the property, and we still haven't finished. We have to do another turn improvements to the building that is close by. It was better to the owner to buy a house than to build a new house. I thank you for listening to me. We should do something.
Thank you, Mr. Yanes. Mr. Daniel Romero, please. Next person, Mr. Guzman.
Be short, 3 minutes.
Short as you? Mayor, City Council, Daniel Romero, Calexico. First clarification, Planning Commission, and I speak right now only for this comment as a member of, we don't establish fees. We just discuss and see, we come up with a recommendation to the City Council on how to proceed with the planning for the City of Calexico. Now, as far as the fees themselves, I would probably recommend that it get deferred to the Economic Development Commission, since they are the ones that are here to see what they can do to promote business. Now, adjustment on fees, business license fees, fire department fees, etc. I could see that it would make some sense to see if they can be modified to what would be equitable for these times. The impact fees, which is really the one fund that the City of Calexico can receive revenue for its current infrastructure, cannot just be said with, let's cut it in half. Now, the city manager has a, if I'm not mistaken, a PRC, Planning Review Committee? Project Review Committee. And with their department heads, police, fire, you have to, and everybody else, you have to take them into consideration before you reduce it by 1 penny. Because if you reduce it by 1 penny, you're going to take it away from the police, you're going to take it away from fire, you're going to take it away from somebody. We talk about how to increase our public safety, which is going to cost money, but yet you discuss on how to reduce the revenues to the public safety departments. You're contradicting yourself. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Next person, Eduardo Guzman.
Good evening. My name is Eduardo Guzman, council members, mayor. I think what you, when we get in campaigning into the for this position of the city council, there is never a requirement as to how much education you have. It's a common sense seat right here. You have to use your common sense, and I think what Councilman Armando Real is doing is common sense, because he knows we've all been in business. I had a car lot here for 15, 20 years, and I was a previous council member here in Calexico. So, I mean, we constantly have to think about common sense. We are the bosses, or they are the bosses of people that had higher education. Yes, good. It's great to have a nice paycheck coming in every week, whether you do your work or not. But the people that have to work hard right from the bottom, that's tough. You got to meet payroll, you got to, meet your household needs. It's tough. And right now, things are very tough. This is the highest city in the whole area here, maybe Pearl Valley. I don't know about San Diego, but I'm pretty sure that we're charging fees. We're always matching San Diego, Beverly Hills, We can't do that. I mean, really, people are hurting out there, and everyone that I've talked to, they just says they're behind on their licenses. Why? Because they're so expensive. They're not even making money to pay the rent or much less for the license fees that we have here. I just got a license here in the city of Holtville, $100 for 1 year. I mean, people just go to any other cities, to get licenses. So, yeah, that's a great job. You're doing a great job, Andy, and just keep at it. I mean, we got a lot of commissions here that don't even meet. They're not even doing their job. So you want to wait there until they meet and they do this, and they never do it. It's never going to get done. We got to get it done. Right now, they need it. People need the break right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman. Okay, now to come to the council again.
Can I just make a statement real quick? Like I said, I'm all for studying the issue and sitting down with planning, other council members, staff. But like I said, I think it's important that for now, because we're losing businesses, that City of El Centro is able to charge these fees. Why can't we? I mean, obviously our police and fire and everybody should be making kind of the same as other cities in the county, right? I mean, a police officer here should make the same as a police officer in El Centro, Imperial, Brawley. We have to live within our means. We can't continue to overcharge businesses because, we want to have the highest paid employees in the county. And so, like I said, the motion right now that I've made is to match the fees, like I said, for new development. We're not going to go retro, obviously. So for new development, and until we come together and bring something else to the council, that the staff can go ahead and study on this. So there's a motion, a first and a second.
Wait a minute, what's the motion?
Motion is to match for right now until, should we put a date on it?
One, specify a city too.
City of El Centro. We can put a 90-day, should we put a date on it, or until the staff comes up with a recommendation for the city council to adjust our fees, and then we can approve that? Is that good? Okay. 90 days? I'll vote.
Wait a minute. Could you repeat it again? I want to know what I'm voting on.
Okay. So for 90 days, we will match the City of El Centro's fees, which is permit fees, development agreement reviews, and general plan amendments, pretty much everything that comes with opening a new business, not an existing business, something new.
Okay. Without having input from the project review committees? Without having any input from them?
I think right now, we will have an input and we'll adjust them in 90 days. I think for now, it's
So when you
just-
make a major decision in your business, you abruptly make it without studying anything?
If it's at the point where you're dying, yes, you have to. I mean, you've had to fire people. You have to do extreme things when your business is. And to be honest with you, the way I see Calexico, the way I see stores closing at Grand Plaza, which is stores closing on an Imperial, businesses, and like I said, it's real simple. You take a drive here, take a drive in El Centro, you can see the boom. You can see how El Centro is growing, and I want that for our community. I want us to grow, and so if we can do this for 90 days while the staff. And I want to put a timeline on it, because if we say indefinite, then it'll stay like that and we won't do anything. But if we do 90 days, we'll put a rush on the Planning Commission, on the Economic Development Commission, on the staff to do something quick and get us some numbers to compare and vote on. So that's the motion. I'm going to vote aye.
The second, do you have a second? You made the motion? Do you have a second?
I think the Castros make a second. Okay. Aye.
Aye.
No.
No.
Don't pass.
Okay.
I made the motion. I made the motion
Wait a
to.
minute, you should allow your other members to make motions before the mayor makes a motion.
Oh, I already have to give here.
Well, I want to make a motion.
I'm making already. So, I made motion. I'm mentioning to reconfirming the decision made March 1st, 2014, impact fee, application fee, and inspection fee lower, reduced up to 50% or proper for residential only. If residential only, effect immediately. For the commercial, up to the 10,000 square foot. Up to the 10,000 square foot.
Why? Let me get. Why would you want to make a motion to pass something that already passed?
Then meanwhile we're going to be have all the fees studies.
So you're making a motion to pass something that already passed, Mayor Kim? You're making a motion to pass something that already passed in March?
Reconfirming.
Reconfirming? Why?
Reconfirming because you brought again.
No, but
you
you're
say,
making a
you say
motion.
the señorita muchacha. You said, oh, I'm saying the muchacha. This is mine. So I'm just reconfirming the made the decision what they did.
Oh, so it's about who did it versus what's good for the. It's about who did it versus what's good for the businesses.
Reconfirming to, but we are going to be more specifically to make sure small business get impacted. The big business has to go to on the process to make sure we are proper charging.
What's your motion?
I'm making motion to reconfirming to make the decision March 1st, 2014 for impact fee, application fee, and the inspection fee to lower up to 50% or proper for residential only, effect immediately. For the commercial, 10,000 square foot, up to 10,000 square foot. For the commercial, up to 10,000 square foot.
Is there a second?
Do I have a second?
Motion dies because of lack of a
Motion
second.
dies because of lack of the second.
I would like to move that we thoroughly analyze this situation, bring it back on November 17th with comparisons from El Centro, Imperial, Brawley, with input from department heads, and have a workshop on that day to either give direction or take action in 2 weeks. I'm not going to make a decision on what I don't know what's going on. I need to look at numbers just like you do as businessmen, just like Mandy does it before I jump into a pool. I got to know how deep it is.
Okay, do
And
you have a
that's what I'm
second?
saying.
Do you have a second?
Well, I made choices, Eddie. I made choices in my life because I did work in retail, okay? And business was bad for a while.
Please
So-
don't engage
okay?
me with the
Don't
public.
engage me with this right now, Eddie.
Okay, so lack of the second, motion died.
I'll make one last motion. I said the city of El Centro, and John Moreno said that you state that if we do a motion on all the cities in the county, so I'm going to make another motion. I'm going to make a motion that we, let me make a motion that we, what we'll do is we'll take, I'll make a motion that we match the lowest fee from the city of El Centro, Imperial, and Brawley. Those three cities, we will match the lowest fee, not under that. So I make a motion that we will match those three cities' fees. In other words, the lowest fee, whatever they charge. For 90 days, until we do the study.
Is there any seconds? The lack of the motion died, lack of the second. Then I make the motion again.
It didn't pass the first time. You're going to make it.
Make the motion to reduce the impact fee, applications, inspection fees, reduce the up to 50%, or the matches the average of the nearby city for residential only, effect immediately. For the commercial, up to 10,000 square foot. Do I have a second?
I move that two council members sit on a subcommittee to work with the city manager on providing an ordinance that is equitable and has input from everybody.
Can I just clarify? Kim, you just said what I said, to match the fees.
No.
Oh, but you said it, so
No,
now
the
it's...
residential and the residential, specifically to make sure the big project doesn't take the benefit out of there. Do we have to propose to go?
What do you mean, a big project doesn't take advantage? You want to provide incentives to the garment industry. You're not going to give incentives now, or what?
No, that's a different story. We're not decided yet.
Look, this is frustrating. If we don't match other cities' fees, the city is going under. The businesses are leaving, and Calexico will continue to take a dive. Publicly.
Are you a fortune teller? Do you have a crystal ball? Or
I can see it, John. Drive around.
I've driven around. But I think
Does
there's a better way.
Does it look as good
There's a
as
better
it was
way,
in the past?
There's a better way of doing what you want to do through proper procedure.
That's just politics.
No, it's
That's
not politics.
just
It's
politics.
procedures. It's protocol.
You want to ask both chiefs, if they think that they should get less money a year? Of course not. That's what's going to happen. We're going to do a study, and they're going to say, I need more, not less. If you lower this, I'm making less money. But businesses, we're going to continue on the same path.
They can come to an agreement. Right now, you're representing the businesses, but what about everybody else?
Who's everybody else?
The 40,000 residents. And I'm thinking
more business brings more money, which means more money for the city.
And
It's
I don't
that simple.
disagree with that, but
if we don't understand that, then
I think
I got somebody telling me that what the fire department is more important than businesses. I'm sorry, but businesses pay the fire department with their taxes.
I
And
don't disagree with that, but I think
businesses come first.
I think we have to finish this meeting. So if we don't have anything, so we don't have a lack of the second motion died.
Mr. City Manager.
But
can I provide direction, and maybe the council will agree with that, maybe, at the next meeting on the 17th, that you provide us some analysis on some of these items that Mr. Real is talking about. He has a checklist.
Can
Let me finish.
Economic development,
Okay,
you've done
Mr.
several studies. Can you come up here and say that?
Please.
Right, but I'm not going to vote on something without thoroughly understanding what we're voting on. You know, I know there is a crisis right now. We have been in a crisis for quite a while. And this is a good thing, but if you're just jumping into it without any input from anybody but yourself, I think there needs to be more analysis. I'm sorry. I'm not saying overanalyze, I'm just saying just enough so that we can come into the next meeting, provide a workshop, provide some numbers, provide some comparisons that we all have in front of us on a PowerPoint, and then make a decision then.
These are comparisons.
Right, but we don't have them. They don't have them. Nobody has them.
They're not voting, we are. We have them right here.
I don't have it.
Yeah, but you want input from your staff and from your community.
From $800 to $9,000.
I agree with you. Let's take a look at that.
But I don't know exactly what you're talking neither.
See, he doesn't know either. We're not the only ones.
You said $809,000. What kind of a condition? You don't have any specs in front of you to compare.
Those are the specs.
But we don't have anything to compare with it.
All right. Next item.
Okay.
No, I already brought it up. If it's not supported, it's not supported. We're going to be anti-business.
Number 14, we couldn't make the decision. I like to continue this meeting, this item for the next meeting. But
more information.
For number 14, more information. But staff has to be brought us to something in to
concrete
numbers and the pro and cons, and that immediate effect to our community, and also looking into the implementing what decision made by last year for up to the 50% residential only. If that one was already been approved, so that is up to the city manager implementing or not.
All right.
But for the business, we have to have more specifically to size the what kind of things. If we want to wait until all the process going on, probably takes another year, 2 years. So we have to have certain kind of decision made, temporary decision made by the staff to what willing to do for the community, and then to give us a more clear pictures to make the decision so we can serve the community right away. Number 15. Number 15, certificate of the acceptance. I believe this is city staff that need to explain this.
They're just giving us the easement there, right?
Yeah. Mr. Finley, someone explain number 15, please.
Yeah, this item is brought before you, and it's the project for Cesar Chavez, White and Cesar Chavez. It's a certificate of acceptance, kind of what you approved last week. Except this one doesn't have a monetary value to it at this current time. It was an item that was left out at the last agenda that we brought forth on this agenda, and it's just the agreement that we are taking with Mr. Hector Arajo on his property, where he's going to be dedicating the easement of the slope, plus allowing us to use some of his property for construction during this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Aye.
No discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 16. Lifting the employment hiring freeze for the City of Calexico general employees and the consideration of essential proposition to be filled. Mr. Finley?
What number is this?
Number 17.
What happened to 16?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just voted number 16.
No, number 15 we voted.
Okay. The gun club is 16.
Number 16, the status report on sale of the former gun club property.
That's number 16.
Number 16.
That's a parking lot now.
Well, that's one of the things that we were asking the status on the gun club. The parking Well, now, the parking lot is still city property. It hasn't been sold or anything to Grand Plaza, and I think that was one of the requests as to what was the status of that property. I researched some paperwork as to where it stands, and on the property details, it's still city property owned by the city. The only thing that we don't currently know is, and I'm trying to research, is whether this piece of land is in some type of agreement with Grand Plaza as to the terms of that agreement. I will be researching and bringing back to you.
All right.
Okay, so you're gonna bring back the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, please, let us know what the situation is. Is the Grand Plaza's, when they're gonna buy, when they're gonna take action to buy this land? Actually, they have to pay for the building too.
Right.
Because the price, I believe, was $2.8 million.
We will be researching the agreement and thoroughly going through it to reach those determinations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Finley. Number 17, lifting of the employment hiring freeze for City of Calexico, general employees, and the consideration of the essential position to be filled.
I think we need to do this. We discussed this.
Yes, we discussed this in closed session, so we just need to do this so we can go forth in the advertisement of the positions.
So moved.
I second. To have a vote?
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, Mr. Finley. And then, Mr. Finley, you have a congratulations. You have a little more room for the staff. Okay, appointment of the General Commissioner to the Calexico Housing Authority. Number 18.
I make a motion to approve Rene Felix.
Second.
Aye.
Is there any discussion?
You want to have a study?
We're gonna vote?
Why don't we have a study to see?
Okay, let's
He's
vote.
poking at me, huh? He's poking at me, doesn't he? He wants to poke at me, huh?
Let's vote, please.
Let's have the planning commission maybe look at it.
Okay, you're not gonna vote?
Aye.
Let's take a study on this, Mr. Real.
Mr. Castro?
I second that motion.
Aye.
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 Mr. Romero?
No, I had someone else in mind.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Okay. We pass Mr. Felix is here today? Okay, thank you. So we have another one, last one for today.
I have nobody
19.
in mind, Mr. Kim.
Okay, about
You don't have anybody in mind, or John? You don't have any? No.
Okay, Economic Development Commissions, Mr. Castro?
I'm going to wait for the next public council.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for the regulations, commissions, and Financial Advisory Committee Board member, Ms. Hurtado is not here. So we have next, what's called, next future agenda items.
I want to, as a future agenda item, to get some background on city of El Centro, Imperial and Brawley, regarding water, that, in other words, that the city of Calexico go off a metered rate versus the 22,440 gallons that we charge the individual homeowner.
Would you repeat, because for the record?
In other words, that the city of Calexico go off a metered rate water.
Metered rate?
Metered rate, yes.
Meter rate.
Meter rate.
Meter rate, yes.
So Calexico water meter rate.
No.
The city of Centro.
What I can do is provide you a comparison from the city to the other cities here in the valley as to what the rate comparison is. Is that what you're asking for?
No, what I'm asking is that the city of Calexico go to a metered rate. In other words, I mean, I don't understand how hard it can be, but if we're paying, if you're paying $48 per 22,400 gallons, divided by $48, what is it? I don't know if it's 4 cents a gallon or anyways, you do a mathematical analysis on how much we're charging right now for a gallon at $48 for the 22,000 gallons and just charge a metered rate. If someone uses 11,220 gallons, then they should pay $24, right?
I like
Just kind of makes sense.
Makes sense, but
Okay, I can do some analysis on that. and bring it.
Just, in other words, bring it to the council, see if the council feels that we should go to a metered rate or continue with the tier rate that we have now. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Real. So any council member have a future agenda?
I have none.
Okay, so just reminding to council members, if you want to put in the agenda, you can put the written request to send the mayor. Mayor to send the city manager to review the legality. There's nothing wrong, it's going to be on the agenda.
I just want to make sure that we bring that item back on the development fees with a better analysis, that's all. Okay. Motion to adjourn, Mr. Mayor?
We adjourn the meeting today, 9:03.
Aye.
Aye.